Fossil fuels. They're terrible, as many of you probably know. You might have been to the gas station recently and seen that the price of gas is off the charts. But that isn't the only fault of fossil fuels. They're also only 33% efficient. And there's only about 50 years of oil left in the world at our current rate of consumption. But worst of all, they're destroying our home, Earth. Now, even though scientists are constantly developing clean and renewable energy sources, we could just harness the energy that we already waste. For example, you might have been sitting on a couch, gotten up, and felt that the couch was warm. Well, this is the energy that this is your body heat that you've created, but we aren't utilizing any of it to satisfy our daily energy needs. Even cars and airplanes waste valuable energy, which can be used to give power back to these vehicles. Walking, as well as human waste, create energy, but what are we doing with it? Nothing. And these are just a few examples. So now you might be wondering, all right, harnessing wasted energy is an interesting idea, but why is this better than other energy sources? Well, fossil fuels are terrible, as I previously mentioned, but there has been a rise in renewable energy, like solar energy and wind power. Now, renewable energy sources are great because they're clean and renewable, as the name mentions, but they're also extremely expensive and inefficient. And solar panels are a great example. Now, solar panels for the average home cost a whopping $25,000 to $35,000. And even though this initial investment may seem lucrative in the long run, it's still an exorbitant amount of money. And that's because paying off the initial investment can take up to 20 years. And that's longer than I have been on the face of the earth. Solar panels are also not very reliable because they can only produce energy when the sun is out. And they're also only 12% efficient. And just in case you were wondering, wind turbines aren't much better. Wind turbines aren't as common, but a residential one you might see on a farm, for example, costs an astounding $48,000 to $65,000. And wind turbines are also only 45% efficient, which is better than fossil fuels and solar panels, but is still very little. Now, harnessing wasted energy has all the advantages that renewable energy has because it's clean and renewable, but I also don't think it's that expensive. And this is because objects that harness wasted energy are embedded into everyday items, unlike renewable energy. The only fault of fossil fuels is that they might not be very efficient, but as technologies continue to improve, inventions that accomplish this job will only become more efficient. So now you might be wondering, all right, this works, but how do we harness wasted energy? Well, even though this is a relatively new concept, there have been a few inventions created to accomplish this job. The most common being regenerative braking, or more commonly known as regen braking, which turns the kinetic energy of the car into usable energy when the driver brakes their vehicle. Now, many car companies such as Toyota and Tesla, whose cars you've probably seen on the road, have installed regen braking into their hybrid and electric vehicles. Another group of researchers has developed a material that converts heat into energy. Now, this material can be installed in cars because a little less than half of the car's energy is vented as heat and wasted. Now, inventions that harness wasted energy don't even necessarily have to have any technological components. For example, most watches use a battery, but some watches use the motion of your arms when you walk to swing a pendulum, which turns the hands of the watch without any tech or a battery. Even something as simple as a jacket, which many of you might be wearing right now, is harnessing wasted energy because it's trapping the body heat that you create inside of you and using it to warm you. I personally am also in the process of inventing a device that harnesses wasted energy for a STEM showcase at my school. My goal is to charge a battery when you walk. Now, though this idea may seem a bit far-fetched, I have a method to my madness. Now, essentially what happens is the top of the part is where the foot goes, then beneath that is a pocket of air. When you step down, the air gets pushed out of the air pocket, which turns a little propeller, which turns a DC motor and charges the battery. Now, at the moment, this is still a model, but it's probably not the most efficient or comfortable thing at the moment. But if someone with more experience than me were to create a shoe like this, it would probably be more efficient and comfortable. Now, this harnessing wasted energy is still a relatively new idea. But yes, you can support and encourage the growth of harnessing wasted energy. The easiest thing to do is to purchase an invention that harnesses wasted energy. Now, at the moment, there probably aren't any on the market. But in a few years, this definitely won't be the case. Essentially, what I'm trying to say is if the shoe that I just talked about comes out onto the market, buy it. Now, if you have a little bit more experience in this field, you can even create an invention that harnesses wasted energy. Now, for example, what if in the future there's a bed that charges your phone at night from the body heat that you created when you were sleeping? But if there's one thing that I know for sure, it's that this is the next big thing. So let's get ready for it.